The reason why I feel like 1% of the people in the world are wealthy is because people decide that, oh, if a goal is hard or it's too hard for them, they're just gonna start quitting or they're not gonna like put in the work it takes to get to the goal. And I feel like when people start doing this or when people drive away or drift away from their goals, it makes it harder for them to reach what they want to do in life and be who they want to be in life. And it's hard. I know it's hard being wealthy, or I know it's hard to gain the wealth and the being famous, right? But at the end of the day, it's not impossible, and people just feel like if it's not easy, then it's impossible, and that's a horrible mindset to have. But one of the main reasons that people who are wealthy have, or the reason they are wealthy and most people aren't, is because of their mindset. Their mindset allows them to be in good mood always. Like, for example, if a rich person loses or they become in the face of fear or defeat, they know how to handle that because they've been in that situation most times, and they know that they shouldn't give up no matter what, and they should continue going towards that thing or doing what they want to do in life or continue striving to pass the defeat. But most people, they're just gonna see that they lost and they're gonna be like, no point in me trying again, and then they're just gonna leave. But that's the thing about life. We're gonna lose and we're not gonna win most of the time. Most of the time we're gonna lose in life. And that's why life is a challenge and an obstacle in itself, because a lot of times in life we learn that we lose, and we lose a lot in life, and that's most importantly. So the number one reason is because of their mindset, and their mindset allows them to get over the losses and realize losses are lessons, and lessons teach them to not lose again. And even when they do lose again, to keep a good mind and to keep a good mood about it. And another reason is because of the people they surround themselves with. Honestly, this is most one of the most important things I'm realizing is that most people just have the bad crowd around them or bad people around them. Not necessarily like people that are prison or thugs. I mean, like, when I mean bad people, I mean people that genuinely like tell you to do the wrong thing or influence you to do the wrong thing. Like, oh, let's go out and drink, let's go out and do all these different things. Not saying drinking is a bad thing, and not saying it's not, you shouldn't have fun, but you can have fun, but let it be in a moderate setting. People just go around just doing every time, every day. They just go around partying, and that's not good to have. All those times you're wasting out there, the people that are wealthy are using their time appropriately, and they're doing as much as they can with the time that God has given them. And once you realize that there is so much time that can be used, you'll start realizing that it's important to use as much time as you're given, because we all have 24 hours. Billionaires are not given more time than we are. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. So why are they more wealthy and why are they more successful than most of us? And that's because of the people they're around. The people they're around strive them or teach them to do better, and teach them or tell them to do better. And even when they are slacking, even when the wealthy people are slacking, other wealthy people tell them to continue and not to give up or continue what they are doing. And they actually tell them what they are doing wrong, because nowadays people are who are they are friends with, right? Their friends do not tell them when they are doing something wrong or when they are in the wrong path. They just allow their friends to go, and they allow their friends to continue in the deep wrong path. And I feel like that is not a true friend. If you're a true friend, you will tell your friend what he's doing is wrong or what the path he's going through is bad, no matter what. Even if he's not gonna like you after it, you're telling him the truth, and that's all that matters. Because once you tell him the truth, and once you tell him that he has to stop his BS, then he'll respect. Even if he doesn't like what you're saying, he'll still respect you at the end of the day, because you're calling him out of his BS. And not a lot of people want to do that at the end of the day, because they want to keep their friend and they don't want to lose the relationship. But at the end of the day, wealthy people don't care about the relationship. If they see their wealthy friend doing something bad, they are going to call them out on it. And if they see them lacking, they're going to call them out on it. If they see them slacking, they're going to call them out on it. Because who would want their wealthy friend to lose their wealth? Nobody. Because at the end of the day, it is a competition in life, but that doesn't mean you still don't want people to win. And another thing that is most important is that they allow the people around them to like give them advice. They're not just saying, "Oh, I'm richer than all of y'all. I can't listen to any of y'all. None of y'all opinions matter." That's not how they look at life, or that's not how they look at things. They're not flexing it all around. They're just being humble, and they're humble people at the end of the day. They're gonna ask their assistants or their managers what should they do in this situation, and they put all their ideas together, and this is how they become richer and get more money. Because at the end of the day, if you put one idea and put another idea and put another idea together, you'll get three good ideas. And when you combine these ideas together, it becomes one really good idea. And that's why I feel like when you're with a crowd or when you're with people that you have the same like-minded things as them, learn to ask ideas and put your ideas together, because at the end of the day, you will learn more from asking people what they think or asking their opinion about a thing. Because what would you lose from someone asking you your opinion about something? Nothing. At the end of the day, ask them their opinion, and don't just say you disagree. Ask them about your opinion, and then when they're done, talk about your opinion, and then this is how everybody brings their opinion together and they talk about the final result. And that's what a lot of wealthy people do. But another thing they do is they don't just spend their money lackadaisically, or they just don't go around spending their money however they want. Even though they know they can remake the money, even though they know that it's not that hard to make the money back, they still, at the end of the day, they still do what they need to do, and they spend as little as money as possible, and they also invest their money. Because people nowadays, when they receive money, they think, "Oh, let me just buy this car, let me buy this thing." They don't think about the long-term goal. They just think about the short-term goal and things that wouldn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, flexing your money gets you nowhere. If you're flexing, oh, you got $1 billion. If you're buying things that you know aren't that necessary, like, why would you buy $100 million car if you could just buy a $10,000 car that does the same thing? And that's how wealthy people think. They don't think about, oh, let me just buy the most expensive car ever. They don't think like that, because at the end of the day, cars are meant to drive from point A to point B. It doesn't matter how extravagant or how luxurious it looks. It just matters if it can get to point A to point B. And that's why the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. Because at the end of the day, the poor people, when they get money, they lose it again, because they're already in the mindset of being poor, and they're already in the mindset of being broke. So they don't even really think about that, because, oh, when they're broke, they think, oh, let me get this, let me get that, let me get this, let me get that. Even though when they're broke, they can't afford it. So when they get a little bit of money, they go ahead and spend it all getting the things they thought they needed. Whole time they just wanted, because they were broke. Rich people, they budget their money, and they put their money into places where they know they're going to need in the future. So in 5, 10 years, 20, 30 years, when they have children, the money is still there, and they have wealth. That's why it's called generational wealth, because the wealth transpires into other generations. But people don't really understand that, because they think, oh, if I get wealthy and I have wealth, I can just spend it all. And that's the difference between having generational wealth, or like having wealth, and maintaining wealth. Because when you have wealth, you think, oh, let me just spend it. I have it. Might as well just spend as much as I can. If you maintain the wealth you have, you think, you budget your money, you try your best to keep the money, you save it, you try as much as you can to continue to have the money or not lose as much money as needed. And that's why it's so hard for people to stay or maintain their wealth nowadays, because people are just so distracted by the things they're seeing outside that they just become They forget about budgeting their money. They don't even care about 10, 15 years. They just care about now. Oh, what can I do now? What can I do now? What can I do now? They just focus on getting their points up. They're just worried about, oh, getting their cool points up. Let me just spend this $100,000 car. Let me go buy this $100,000 thing. And if you can afford that, that's good for you. But 5, 10 years later, when that $100,000 car breaks down, what is it gonna do for you? You're gonna have to fix it, and that's gonna cost more money and more money and more money, and the money is gonna stack up. At the end of the day, if you are wealthy and you don't manage your wealth, even though you have a lot of money, it is going to stack up. So don't feel like just because you're wealthy, that means you're allowed to spend as much money because you know you're gonna make it back. Money is gonna stack up. One droplet causes a mighty ocean at the end of the day. No matter what you think you're doing now, or no matter what you think is gonna happen in the future, it will come back to bite you. The bad habits you do now will come back to bite you in the ass later. And that's the most important thing. Whatever you do now is going to affect you in the later. If you do good things now, it's gonna show in the later. It's gonna show in the future. It's gonna be present in the future. Just like how when wealthy people save their money, their children receive the benefits of it because they have money, and now they do the same thing. And that's how wealthy families are born, because the wealth is just transferred and transpired throughout generations, from grandpa to son, and from son and to Darren and that for. And even if the money is not actually, when it comes to families, I feel like families just don't understand that just because you have money doesn't mean you have to spend money. And that's why it's only 1% that's wealthy. Only 1.6% of the people out there are wealthy, because people think just because they have money, they are allowed to spend all of their money and blow it out. And that's why there's homeless people, because at the end of the day, not to knock homeless people. I love homeless people. If you're homeless and it wasn't because you're horrible at spending money, then that's different. But people like Delonte West, NBA player, he had millions of dollars, but yet he was so addicted to drinking and partying, and he just blew out the money. And that's why it's so important to budget your money. This will conclude my video, and that is why it's so important to budget your money. And that's why only 1.6% of the people out there are wealthy.